feels, my team? How is it? Good morning, good morning, good morning, Aussies. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Americans and Canadians, and to our team in the UK, good evening. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. We are coming in with an episode of Q&A. This is the part of the week where we come in and we answer any questions that have been supplied through the success team that would be worth talking about on a grander scale. So if you're coming into this one, just know that you can ask any question live and I am more than happy to answer the question for you. This is about educating yourself, okay? There's two parts to this program. There is getting the simple plan. If you get the simple plan down pat and you mix that with some accountability and support that we are really increasing at the moment, you put those two things together, you get fantastic results. So we're going to be starting this episode in just over a minute. So if you haven't already, please get down in the comments. There's 10 people watching live. I want to know who's coming in here. And if you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments and I'll get to answering them during the course of this podcast. This episode, sorry. So look at this team lining up. So good. So flying out of a little bit early because I'm flying out of Hawaii back to Canada for probably what will be 3 to 6 months. I'm super excited about just bunking down in my what I call my bunker and like getting super excited about delivering up some new content to you guys, expanding our coaching team. We might have an announcement shortly, but I'll keep that under wraps. And to all of you that are looking forward to getting yourself some new merch for either summer or winter, I am just putting the final touches on the Shopify, which is the Shopify site, so that we can launch to you guys either over the weekend or Monday. Then we'll have a short buying period and you can get rock and rolling. Just want to say quickly hi to Mr. Lewis. How are you, my legend? Hope you're well. Sean, you absolute champion of a bloke. What a great response to the post on you yesterday, mate. Congratulations, guys. Everyone, get in the comments and wrap Sean up. He's just hit 10 kilos fat loss. What a legend. G'day, Kenny. Good morning to you, mate. Good evening. Xanth, what's going on, girl? I hope you're feeling a little bit better. I know it's been a bit rough for you over the last couple of days. Tez has been in here. Hello, mate. Zachy Denman, I love when you come in here, Zach. It's so good, brother. Good evening, Jace. Whoever said that, I want you to go up there and just click that link. It'll take you 10 seconds. Okay, you haven't authorized Restream yet, so just click it so I can see who you are. Cole, how are you, girl? Claire's in here as well. Whoever just said good morning all, you need to authorize Restream. It'll take you 10 seconds and then I can display your name. All right, guys, I think it's time to get into another episode of Q&A. Good evening, Kath Marples. Lovely to have you in here as well. By the way, Kath is with Amelia, now leading one of our female squads and doing an epic job doing it. So thank you very much, Kath. You're a legend. You know that you know that. Anyway, guys, let's get started. So firstly, I wanted to ask the people that are watching live, who is still into the cold showers? I just did my, 30th day straight? No, 31st, because I'm on Australian time. 31st of cold showers. I personally am viewing this very much like my steps, okay? Has it been easy? No, it's not been easy, particularly when the majority of the time I've been in freezing cold Canada. I know it's the same for you guys in the UK. It has been cold, right? And so stepping into a cold shower is hard. And that's the reason we did it. Walking 10,000 steps a day is hard. And that's the reason we did it. So for me, 560 odd days ago, I started doing 10,000 steps a day. Then it became 10 days. Then it became 20 days. And now it's 560 days, right? Up to you, completely up to you. But I can tell you, in a year from now, I'm going to be telling you guys who are in our academy that I've just hit 365 days of cold showers straight. And you're going to be like, I should have kept that up. Why? Because of the fact that by that time that you forced yourself to do 30, 60, 90, 120, 365 days of hard things, doing slightly easy things is going to be so much simpler. Okay? I would beg you to not stop doing them now. Keep the streak going. We got Pam's in here as well. Good morning, Pear. Yep, Claire's still going. And for you ladies in the UK, like, it's freezing. Joe, what you need to do is click that Restream link above, just in the description of the post, and we're ready to go. All right, guys, let's start Q&A. So let me get the video up in the men's group to display some questions. And the first question is this. In general, how many shakes or bars would you consume on a daily basis? Or would you say is okay to consume on a daily basis? All right, so for me, I actually forgot to put this post up last night. What I do is now who does this, by the way? What I do is at the end of every single day, I usually sort of start to try to retire and calm down about 9 to 9:30. And what I do is I ask myself a simple question. Where is my protein intake for today? If I'm at 150 grams of protein, I take 2 scoops of protein just literally before I go to bed. If I'm at 175 grams of protein for the day, now, of course, I'm a man, so it would be relative for the ladies. If the ladies are at 100 grams of protein for the day, 2 scoops of protein before bed. If you're at 125 gram ladies, or men, if you're at 175 grams of protein, you basically work off 1 scoop of protein. If it's the regular 30 gram scoop, is about 25 grams of protein if it's whey protein isolate, a good whey protein isolate that you're taking. So I ask myself the simple question, where am I with my protein count? If I'm 25 short, I add in a scoop. If I'm 50 short, I add in 2 scoops. The calories that you generally need to account for are 1 scoop, 120 calories, 2 scoops, 240 calories. And generally, a lot of us will have that wiggle room in our nutrition plan anyway. And so it is so important that you hit it. So I use shakes and bars as either convenience, or I use them as supplements to what I'm already doing. Okay? Do I think it's a problem to have 2 or 3 scoops of protein a day? No. I think what is a problem is if you don't know how to hit your daily nutrition counts in terms of calories and protein without them. That's when it becomes a problem. You know, as an example, when can you stop tracking your nutrition with MyFitnessPal? Well, whenever you feel comfortable that you have a really good grip on what is in food. I call it a calorie consciousness. Okay, that's when you can stop. But at the same account, you can always go back to tracking. So for me, I know that I can always fall back on protein supplement or a protein bar. So for example, today, right, I'm getting on a flight. I have to pay for food because it's a local, like a Jetstar equivalent over here. So I've got 4 Quest bars in my bag. Okay, I probably won't eat them all, but I've got them there as a backup in case the food that I have to pay for is crap. All right. I started the morning with my normal bowl of oats and a scoop of protein. I'll probably finish it with 1 or 2 scoops of protein. So I don't think it's a problem. I think the problem comes if behaviorally you don't know what to do without it. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. Next up, I feel like I'm in a weight loss plateau. What's the next step? Okay, this is a great question and a very common question. So a lot of people, here's the way that they feel that they're stuck. They have 1 week where they don't lose weight and they say, oh, I'm in a plateau. You're not in a plateau. I want you to think about, this is a great analogy. When it comes to fat loss, I want you to think about you on one side and your brain on the other side in a bit of a game of a tug of war, okay? And it's a tug of war because you want to lose fat, but your brain wants to keep you alive and it sees fat reserves as a fuel source for survival. So at the start, you lose weight fairly quickly because the brain's like, well, this is costing me a lot of energy to carry all this fat round. So it happily gets rid of a fair bit at the start. But after a period of time, it's sitting there going, well, okay, well, I'm losing this weight. I don't like the direction because what if I run out of fuel? Okay? So it becomes this little bit of a tug of war. You're not in a plateau if you don't lose weight for a week or 2. okay, you're probably in a plateau if over 3 or 4 weeks you don't lose weight and the caveat, you don't see any change to your hip or waist circumferences. Okay? Now, is a plateau a bad thing? The word plateau tends to be seen as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's actually a sign that your metabolism is working correctly to put you back into maintenance, to slow down the fuel that you're burning because of the reduction in the fuel that you're taking in. So it's actually a good thing that your body's trying to keep you alive. Imagine that your metabolism packed it in and didn't do that. Well, you'd be dead pretty quickly if you kept losing weight at 2 kilos per week. That basically means at the end of 50 weeks, you're 100 kilos down and you're dead. Boop. Right? And so I really think that we've got to define what a fat loss plateau is first. It is, 3 or 4 continuous weeks of no change on any size. And what I see a lot of you doing is saying that I'm not losing weight. The reason you're not losing weight is because you're lifting hard in the gym and because you're hydrated. Okay? But you're seeing changes in your waist circumference. Okay? If you do enter a genuine progression plateau, which would be 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a little bit more of no change to anything, right? It's either one of two things. It is we're just in the grip of the tug of war, okay? Or it's your body telling you quite clearly that you are in maintenance with whatever you are doing. I had a great chat to Matty Dawson through the week, and I told him, look, the reason you have to get consistent with your weekly check-ins is because at the moment, I can't advise you on the benefit of what you're doing if I can't see what's happening. The body is the indicator, okay? If the body is losing fat, then that tells us we're in a calorie deficit. We sit here going, but I'm in a calorie deficit and I'm tracking. Look, if you're not losing the waist circumference, particularly the hip circumference, you're not in a calorie deficit for a sustained period of time. So we pay attention to what the body is telling us. And if the body is in a plateau over 3 or 4 weeks, it's not a bad thing. It's just telling us that we are in maintenance. And so if that's the case, we need, in other words, maintenance, what we're doing is equivalent to what we're burning in terms of petrol, right? So we need to make some changes. There's a couple of things that we can do. If we are bottoming out on the calories, I don't think it's a good idea to keep cutting down calories. But if we are at the start of our journey, we can do a couple of cuts to our calories. The other thing that we can do is this is where controlled cardio enters, okay? So what we can do, my suggestion would be start doing 15 to 20 minutes of uphill treadmill walking at a low to medium intensity at the end of your workouts. You will notice that you start to get a bit of a sweat up, okay? And I think that should be some sort of indication that your calorie burn is going up. But we don't want to start doing that. As you know, cardio is not part of the plan. Follow the fucking plan. It's not part of the plan until you start to hit genuine progress plateaus. And you don't want to go 3 or 4 steps ahead by cutting calories and doing an hour of cardio until you hit sustained plateaus, because you're using all your, what do you call it? Like, you're showing your knife too quickly, right? You don't want to do that. You want to keep things up your sleeve. Okay, great question. Let's keep going. By the way, there's 10 men in the group watching. Congratulations, men. Love that. Girls, get in here. What is the problem with having a fitness device connected to MyFitnessPal? This is a great question, by the way, and it is a problem. Here is the reason why. Your fitness device is a terrible indicator of how many calories you have burned despite what you say. I have a fitness device. Good morning, Nikki friend. I have a fitness device, okay? I do not ever, never, ever track calories on this or a treadmill or a bike. The reason is it is always a massive overestimate. Okay, think about it. You go to the gym, would it be beneficial for it to tell you you've run 500 calories when you've maybe only done 200? Of course, because you're there, oh man, 500 calories, how good is that? Now I can drink more beer, right? We don't want to have our device connected, because what MyFitnessPal does, let's say that you set your calorie target as a man at 2,000 calories for the day. Let's say that your connected device says that you've burnt 500 calories. Good morning, Chris Young. let's say, good morning, Jackie Morrison. So let's say your connected device tells that you've burnt 500 calories during exercise. What will actually happen to your target is it will say, oh, because you've burnt 500 calories during exercise, I'm going to add that to your 2,000 calorie target, and I'm going to give you a new target of 2,500 calories. Do you see the problem? Now, this gives you a false impression that you have a higher nutritional target for the day, and you don't. We do not track exercise calories. Morning, Maddie Harvey. Why do we not track exercise calories? Because of the fact that we shouldn't be predominantly using exercise as the way to burn calories. We should be thinking of exercise as the supplement to our dietary strategy. Guys, like, get the nutrition right. I've got the tertiary qualifications in both, so I have no reason to be biased. But I can tell you time and time again, the guys that get the nutrition right are the ones that win. Okay? This is the reason why there are so many resources available to you on nutrition. If you go into the guide section, you've got the workshops, which are the Fat Loss Kickstarter Workshop. These are in your app as well, under videos. You've got the Fat Loss Kickstarter Workshop. You've got the Freedom Eating Formula Workshop. You have the Tracking Trainer Workshop. And you have the Healthy Chef Cheat Code. 4 of the 8 workshops are nutrition for a reason. If you go into your app and go to PDFs, you will see the Calorie Cutter, the Booze Guide. You will see the Fast Food Guide. You will see the Meal Plan. It is nutrition. Now, do not equate I need to eat less. If you saw how much food I ate in a day, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, how's that actually possible? You got to change your mentality from I need to fuel my body instead of I need to take away and deplete my body. You need to take what you're doing and subtract it. You need to stop drinking full strength fucking beers. Stop. Why would you drink 150, 200 calorie beer when you can drink a 90 calorie beer and still have the same thing? Right? Why would you take full cream milk? Instead, don't say I'm not going to drink coffees anymore. Just sub it for skim milk. It's such an easy trade. Think substitution, not subtraction. Does this make sense? I'm going a bit deep on these questions today because they're good questions. I'm not going to display this. Can I consume a protein shake during a workout? You sure can. Doesn't matter when you do it. Okay? It all just contributes to your daily calorie intake. Are BCAA supplements needed? Short answer, do I take them? No. Why are they not needed? Because if your diet is strong enough in good quality protein, you don't need BCAAs. They're a gimmick. They taste good. They to someone that's like super high end and looking for cherries on top, there might be a micro benefit. I can tell you that the evidence around these things are at best very mixed. Okay. By the way, I don't need. Okay, I'm talking mostly to the ladies here, being very generalist. Collagen is not a fucking weight loss supplement. It's a hair and nail supplement. Stop taking collagen. Take whey protein isolate. If you can't take whey protein isolate because you don't tolerate it, totally understandable. Go for a vegan protein, like pea protein, right? Take collagen if you want really nice nails and hair. Okay, morning JC Niles. How are you, legend? Let's keep going, guys. We're hammering this. Does foam rolling actually benefit in any way? Does anyone here do foam rolling? I know Coach Mike does, but does anyone do any foam rolling? So I want to give you an idea. I don't, but after a little bit of research, I perhaps might consider doing it a little bit more. Here is the way that foam rolling essentially works. When you have a lot of workouts, either from hard cardio or from resistance training, the muscles tighten up. And I want you to think of the muscle fibers. A couple of things happen, right? You know all you beautiful women that have really nice hair, but if you don't take care of it, it's frizzy? What happens is the muscle fibers get a bit frizzy. And so they get out of line. And then when they get out of line, they can fuse together. So if you can imagine, the muscle fibers fuse together, what is that going to do slightly on a micro level to our mobility? It's going to restrict our mobility slightly because the individual fibers or filaments can't move as freely because they've started to kind of overlap and connect to each other. So the idea of a foam roller is almost to go through like a lovely lass combing her hair and line the fibers up, okay? Which is why when you foam roll, you roll in the direction of the muscle fibers repeatedly. You don't sit there like you're building a pizza dough, okay? So the idea is to kind of comb out the frizz, all right? Does that make sense? I don't do it. Maybe I should, okay? So I need to probably look into this. There is a real movement at the moment towards kind of recovery, mobility, and all of these things, and I would love to do a workshop on this at some point in time. Next question. Should I be meditating? We got 3 questions to go, guys. Should I be meditating before bed or before my day starts? I think this is an individual preference. I think that for some people, meditation's they're just never going to do it because they don't like the idea of being with their own thoughts, or the moment they try to do it, they get plagued by a bunch of other thoughts, which is the reason why you meditate. But the whole point, okay? All I got to tell you is that I did a 10-day silent meditation retreat with Cords a couple of years ago. Fucking no talking at all, right? No animal food. No talking, no animal food, no masturbation, no sex, nothing. Just you and a journal and meditation. It was really hard. The benefits of it are essentially to be completely disconnected and go into that zone, unreal. But it was generated by the environment. Okay, it was very, very challenging, but generated by the environment being supportive of it. So I think to do it at home, you kind of got to get to the point, you don't have to be like a monk, but you've got to get to the point where you do have some practice of bringing awareness to your thoughts. Because as we've been hammering the last couple of weeks, it's the repetition of the thoughts over and over and over and over again, which is the cause of the problems. Okay, if we're able to go back to the podcast. I got some really good feedback from you guys on that podcast that I did the other day, which I thought was a challenging podcast to deliver. When you break, you break contact with emotionalizing the thoughts. I'll give you an example, right? Here's a great example. All day, every day, I won't say I stress about work, but work is on my mind. And this is because I'm a high performer and I want to deliver to you guys. So I'm always thinking about client results and how do I do more and how can I get a workshop and how can I show up. I'm always thinking about this. But sometimes I go so deep into those thoughts, I lose the fact that I'm working so hard in the first place for a reason. My family and my own fucking happiness, right? To be brutally honest. So if I don't have a reflective, awareness-driven practice, I'll end up slipping into a hole and becoming a story that I tell myself about not being good enough, not delivering, not failing. Does anyone resonate with that? There's 17 people watching live. Does anyone resonate with, you just get so engrossed in things, your own thoughts, that you emotionalize the thoughts and then you can't break with them, right? This is the problem. So I don't necessarily think it has to be a super deep meditative process, but I've got a trick for you guys. The do not disturb button on your phone is our gold mine, okay? We need to, if you're on an iPhone, I don't know how to do it on an Android because Android sucks, but you go to the top right-hand corner and you pull down and it says focus. You choose focus. Do not disturb. You don't turn that on after a sleep until you're ready to start your day on your terms with your mentality right. Does that make sense? So for me, I turn it off when I'm at the gym because I know that I'm just going to sit there reading through things and getting engrossed and it's going to distract me. The best thing that you can focus on is starting the day on your fucking terms. This is me. I'm grounding myself. This is my time with either my family or my gym or my breakfast or my book or my podcast or whatever it is for you. And then turn the notifications on when you're ready when you've set the mentality for yourself to open up to that. Does that make sense? All right, we've got, hey Toddy, how are you, mate? Good to have you in here, brother. We got 2 more questions. So What is a good rhythm of breathing during a workout set? I don't know that we've really had this question too often, and it's a bloody brilliant question. As a general rule, I want to explain how you should be thinking about this. And again, we could possibly even do a workshop on this, okay? As a general rule, you want to be inhaling through your nose right before what's called the eccentric part of the motion. So I might explain this with 3 different things: a squat, a deadlift, and a bench press, okay? Let's start with the bench press. The eccentric part is the lowering part. I want you to think of the opposite of that, which is called the concentric part, as the contraction, okay? So contraction, breathe out, okay? So think of a bench press, all right? Contraction, okay? Contraction. The breathe in through the nose happens either throughout or just before the lowering part of the movement. So for a bench press, for me, it looks like this. Does this make sense? So the inhalation, the force of the energy goes with the contraction of the movement. Think of a squat, okay? If you're blowing out while lowering down, fuck, you're gonna get stuck, okay? So think of it like this. You're gonna breathe in, lower, and then from the bottom, you're gonna go and push up. You're gonna breathe in. Does this make sense? So try to line up with the push part, the forceful part where you're getting the weight off you or away from you, with the breathe out. Does that make sense? It is not a good idea for you to hold your breath during portions. For example, if you try to hold your breath as you push out of a squat, this is one of the reasons that people can get hernias, because the internal pressures don't work, okay? So you don't want to hold your breath. You want to breathe through the movement. One question here from the crowd. Can you answer in layman's terms, why do I have more energy after expanding energy on exercise? What a great question, Denise. Thank you for asking the question. In short, there's a couple of things that are going on here. Number one, when you do some sort of energy expenditure, and it's through either resistance training or cardio of some sort, walking, or it's, let's say it's doing some yoga, whatever it is, 2 things are happening. Number one, you're getting a massive release of hormones. Hormones signal emotions to your body, okay? So one of the things you're getting is the release of endorphins and a decrease in the stress-based hormones like cortisol, okay? So you're seeing a chemical change. Firstly, you feel better, okay? That's one reason. When you feel happy, does it feel like you've got more energy than when you're sad? That doesn't necessarily mean that you've got more available calories. That's because the chemical nature of your body is responding to the happiness hormones versus the sad emotional hormones. For example, you might say, when I'm on my period, or when I had my period, I was depleted. That's because the emotional signal is coming from the hormones, which are telling you that you're tired and depleted, okay? The second thing that's happening is when you exercise, what do? The body needs 2 things: nutrients, fuel, and it needs blood. Oxygen. Otherwise, the tissues your muscles wouldn't work. And so what's happening here is once you're exercising, the lungs respond by increasing your respiration rate, okay? So they start to move up and down quicker, suck in and out. And what that does is causes an increase in the pulse rate or the heartbeat, which pushes blood around your body quicker. So effectively, the river of blood is flowing around your body quicker delivering more oxygen and nutrients. Does this make sense? So the layman's terms are, it is hormonal, you feel better because of the chemical signal, and number two, you are experiencing the benefits of higher oxygen and higher nutrients through blood flow. Okay? Guys, this has been a great podcast. I'm going to cut it off here because I've got to go catch a flight and pack everything up, and now baby's deciding to be vocal. We do this every Friday. So if this is your first one, get in here. How do you increase your knowledge if you're not coming in here and sucking this stuff up? I just know that if I can get what's in my mind into your mind in the simplest fashion that I can, guess what? You start to implement upon that, your life completely changes. This has been Q&A. Happy Friday. The weekend starts now. I'll see you guys on the flip. Back to cold Canada and ready to double down on making BBA the biggest and best thing that we can ever make it. Love you guys. I appreciate you.